Hello and how you doing, and welcome back to Two Jagoffs. I am your host, Dawson Cairns, joined here with...
Jumbo Cairns.
And welcome back to Two Jagoffs, and welcome to the second edition of Father and Son Sports Confessions. We played this several months back, and it did pretty well on all platforms, so this week we are bringing back my dad once more for yet another edition of Sports Confessions. Before we get into that, Dad, how is everything going with you?
Everything's going good. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you again so much for coming on. Two Jagoffs recently has been doing great. And we haven't really done a game show in a while due to all the interviews that we've had, due to all the crazy episodes that we've been doing and promos and stuff. So I figured this week we would take it back and do something a little more laid back and easier. So Sports Confessions, for people who don't know what it is, I have 15 different confessions that I'm going to give my dad today. And he's either going to agree with them, disagree with them, debate me on them, or just look at me like I'm crazy for even stating them in the first place. So it's going to be a fun little episode. Knowing you, Dad, you're probably going to want to debate me on every single one of them. I tried to make them as crazy of a hot take as I could, and I try to do it across all different sports. So you're going to see some football, you're going to see some hockey, you're going to see some wrestling, you're going to see a bunch of different stuff in here today. And I feel like the best one to start off with, if you're ready to go, is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wait, time out before we go any further.
What?
There better not be any crayon colors or any of that goofy stuff you and Lucas do.
I swear they are all sports related. There is no Keller. I'm not the Keller expert. That's Lucas.
Okay, thank you.
You don't want no like Tickle Me Pink or Hay Bale Yellow?
I'll just get up and leave.
Hey, that's Lucas for you. That's Lucas and Mr. Jack Dean. I don't know.
I'd make them leave out the window.
Out the window? Fly Eagle fly out the window.
Don't push it.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers first. I know that's not much better than the Kellers, but we were going to start there. So the Steelers, my hot take for them is quite simple. They are in deep trouble next year, and here's why. And this is what we're going to do for every single one. I'm going to present my case to my dad, and I'm going to let him take it from here. So I believe the Pittsburgh Steelers are in deep trouble going into next year for the simple fact that they waited too long on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers should have been signed before the NFL draft initially happened. Because Aaron Rodgers is, yes, still capable of being a starting quarterback in this league, but he has significantly regressed from the last time we seen him fully healthy. He was starting to wind down a little bit in his final year in Green Bay. First year in New York obviously went down 4 plays into week 1. And then last season he had horrible stats. In all fairness, when you compare his New York Jets stats to Zach Wilson's New York Jets stats, Zach Wilson's stats were better in every statistical category possible. So I personally believe that Aaron Rodgers is on that downslope. Now, is he still capable of winning games? Yes. Is he going to take the Steelers to a winning record? Most likely, because Mike Tomlin is there. But at the end of the day, when you look at a Cincinnati Bengals team who is stacked, when you look at a Baltimore Ravens team who is stacked, and when you look at a Cleveland Browns team who, although is not as good as their fellow competition, but still has some bright spots, especially on defense, with bringing back Myles Garrett and drafting Mason Graham in the first round, I would say they're pretty stacked. So the Pittsburgh Steelers' level of competition this year is more fierce than ever. The AFC West, it's the best we've seen in years. The AFC North, they're going to be competing. The East is going to be competing. The South, they're abysmal. But the rest of the AFC has competition, which is why I personally believe this is going to be yet another disappointment for the Steelers fans and why the Pittsburgh Steelers are in deep trouble.
So what do you think they're going to win?
I hate doing this because I don't want to use the Mike Tomlin motto about how they're going to find a way to win a winning season. I'm going to give them right at that 8-9 mark. I believe they're going to be either just missing the playoffs because they're going to get some lucky wins. They're going to have a hard time scoring again this year. They don't have a run game. Their run game is obsolete. They have a new receiver in DK Metcalf. They have lack of depth there. Their offensive line is relatively young. Their power's all on defense. And that's even if TJ Watt comes back these next couple of years. So I guess 8-9 wins most likely, 7, 8, 9. That's kind of where I see him at right now. Rodgers is still good. He can still win them games, but I don't think it's going to be nowhere near as good as a Ben Roethlisberger was before he retired. I mean, let's be honest, Dad. Look at the quarterbacks they had over the last couple of years. Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Aaron Rodgers is going to be right in that exact same equation as them. He's not going to do any better or any worse than any of those guys did.
What did they have last year? How many wins?
Wasn't it 10?
I don't know. You tell me.
That's what I'm 10.
So you think he's going to get one less than combination of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields?
Yes, I do, because they do not have Najee Harris anymore, and they do not have George Pickens anymore. When you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, you can't just look at the quarterback position. You got to look at the other skill positions. They are on a brand new receiver. Their new number one running back is Jalen Warren. They don't have their defense has been depleted. Yeah, they brought back Deshaun Elliott. Yeah, they're still waiting on word for TJ Watt. They still got Minka Fitzpatrick and Cam Hayward, but time is starting to grow thin now. They're losing players left and right. And like I said, that offensive line, if it plays anywhere like it did last year, I don't see them doing much better. And let's not pretend like Aaron Rodgers is still that prime Aaron Rodgers that we saw in Green Bay. This is a shell of Aaron Rodgers. It's not like he shouldn't be a starting quarterback still. I would never take that away from Rodgers. Rodgers is one of my favorites of all time, but we can't ignore the fact that he's nowhere near where he was 5 years ago.
Well, I totally disagree, of course. Let's go back to some facts that you wanted to spew out in that hateful speech you gave about Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my gosh. You're a Chiefs fan, so I don't know why you're
talking. I'm a football fan, number one. And I've been telling you Zach Wilson is god-awful since the time is told. Great thing about Google. You can Google anything, right? Mm-hmm. 2021, he was a Jet starter, right?
Yes.
This would be his best season. 2,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 69% passer rating. 2022, 1,688 yards, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. 2023, 2,271 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. Now, I believe the quote you made, and I'm going to call you out on it, was, he had better stats than Aaron Rodgers. Let me finish. Aaron Rodgers' stats from last year, 3,000 yards, 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. He had that in one season, what Zach Wilson had in 3 seasons there.
Winning record
at a 40-year-old man who's coming off an injury.
I stand by that statement because QBR and winning record is still in favor of Zach Wilson. I mean, let's not forget Zach Wilson nearly took the Jets to the playoffs in his last year there. Aaron Rodgers could barely get him 7 wins. I'm just being 100% honest with you. I'm not saying it's because of Zach Wilson. I'm just saying when you compare the numbers, it's there. It's on ESPN. It's on SportsCenter. Go take a look.
And what rating are you going with?
What rating? Like a grade level?
No. I'm saying you're basically saying because they almost made it to the playoffs. Well, the year that they almost made it to the playoffs, let's face facts. Miami was god awful.
Well, Tua was hurt, but yeah.
New England was god awful
because it was first year without Belichick.
Correct. So there's 2 garbage teams in your league, in your division, and you have one other team that you had to worry about.
Okay.
Which would have been who?
Which would have been
the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
So if they take first place, you could sneak into the wild card, and that's where they were.
Still, the point that I'm trying to make though is that Aaron Rodgers practically adopted the same team that Zach Wilson did. That Zach Wilson had. He still had a Garrett Wilson. Zach Wilson had a Garrett Wilson. You still had the same head coach. You still had the same defensive lineup. So why couldn't Aaron Rodgers win just as many games as Zach Wilson?
Because he's toxic. That's why.
Okay.
That don't make him a bad quarterback. He's just an asshole.
Okay, well, if he's an asshole, then why are the Steelers not in deep trouble next year?
Because he's going to bring winning mentality to Pittsburgh.
He's going to bring a winning mentality to Pittsburgh, but are you going to sit up
They're
here...
making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers.
Let me ask you this. Are the Ravens better than the Steelers, as of right now? Yes or no? Just are the Ravens better?
As far as what, a well-rounded team?
Overall team, are the Ravens better than the Steelers?
Did they sign Derrick Henry?
Yes, they did.
Then yes.
Are the Cincinnati Bengals better than the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yes.
Are the Cleveland Browns better than the Pittsburgh Steelers?
No.
They are not. That's right there. That's 2 out of the 3 teams in their division that you're saying is better than the Steelers. How are the Steelers not in deep trouble if the Bengals and Ravens both improved from last year?
Because they split with both of those teams.
They think they split with both?
I think they split with both. They split with Cincinnati this last year, and they were Cincinnati was a better team than them.
Okay, well, how are they not in trouble then? Because, all right, let's go outside there. Let's go to the rest of the AFC. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. We believe that they're going to be back there again. The Broncos, they're on the uprise. The Buffalo Bills, they're going to be right back in there. The AFC South is practically anybody. Who knows where the Chargers lay in all this? I mean, there's a lot of different teams out there that we can argue right now that the Pittsburgh Steelers are worse than. So that's why I believe they're in deep trouble.
I remember on a podcast, you and Lucas was talking, and I told you if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, they're automatic playoff bound.
Okay.
Was my opinion. It is not strayed from that at all. I believe TJ Watt will come to terms. I believe He'll be there week 1. And I believe the Steelers will win 10 to 12 games this year.
10 to 12?
10 to 12 with Aaron Rodgers.
Weren't you the same person that came on this podcast like a month or two ago and got on Lucas for saying that the Steelers would have a winning record?
They didn't have a quarterback.
Well, Lucas even said that they're most likely going to get Rodgers, and he was basing that off of...
And what did I tell you in Zen? That is when I said they will be an automatic playoff team if they get Rodgers. He was spewing the thing about Mason Rudolph, is why I said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? They would make the playoffs with him?
Well, now, I think we...
And his logic was they won 10 games with Duck Hodges or whatever.
Well, they did, but yeah. And Mason Rudolph.
Duck Hodges was 10 times better than Mason Rudolph.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
So, my thing was, they had a winning season last year. The Tomlin rule, we'll call it. You interject a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers with DK Metcalf, playoffs.
All right, well, I guess the first one is a disagreement. I'm going to keep track and see how many of these we disagree on. I'm going to put a big D for disagreement, A for agreement. Next up, let's stay on the NFL for a second, and let's go over to your division real quick. Let's talk about the AFC West. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs are a powerhouse. Patrick Mahomes is a generational talent. There's no denying that. The Chargers, they've been 50-50 over the last couple of years. The Raiders just seem to get worse every year that they departed from Derek Carr. But I want to talk about the Denver Broncos specifically. My sports confession to you is I believe the Denver Broncos are a dark horse AFC title contender, and here's why. When you look at this team, this was a team that nobody expected to be as good. We got on rookie quarterback Bo Nix a lot beginning of last year for the turnover issues. Once their bye week passed, every single week, Bo Nix got more comfortable in the pocket. He played relatively conservative, and he did a good job at not turning over the football. From there, the Broncos were in prime position to actually squeeze into the playoffs, and of course, we saw what happened after that. I mean, I think me and you were at Napoli's when we watched that Cincinnati Bengals game to determine which one of them were going to the playoffs or not, and obviously, we saw what happened there. I personally believe, I'm not saying they are AFC title locks, I'm not saying they are going to get there, but when you look at the rest of the AFC, I think the Denver Broncos can honestly compete with most of these teams due to their high explosive offense and their criminally underrated secondary. I mean, let's not forget, Pat Surtain, in my eyes, is the best cornerback in the entire NFL right now. They have him on his team. Not to mention, Bo Nix now has weapons around him, now has an offensive line to protect him. Not something many Broncos quarterbacks could have said. I think they finally found their hidden gem. My only concern with them is the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't believe they can beat the Chiefs when it matters most. Maybe they can get one win up on them. They did last year, even though that was like later in the season. But I still think the Broncos, if they play their cards right, and if they're able to assess their game plan properly, we may see them run through the AFC playoff bracket. Are they going to make it to the Super Bowl? Are they actually going to make it to the championship itself? That's still up in the air. But I believe they're going to be a threat in the playoffs next year.
I was just looking at their schedule as you were talking. They open up with the Titans.
That's a win.
Go to the Colts.
That's a win.
Chargers.
Possibly a win.
Bengals. Eagles. Jets. Giants. Cowboys. Texans. Raiders. Chiefs. Commanders. Raiders. Packers. Jaguars. Chiefs. Chargers. Kind of a rough schedule. I don't know what the rating is on it. They had some tough games.
They do. They also got some pretty easy games, too.
I mean, you play Raiders twice, so.
Yeah, they also played the Jaguars and, the Titans.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think they make it through the AFC bracket. Maybe a round. Maybe the first round. I think they're going to be a wild card. And then I think after that, then they're going to lose in probably divisional round. That's where I got them going.
So you can at least see them making an effort in the playoffs. But do you think they have a chance, like a dark horse? I'm not saying that they are a lock. I'm saying they are a dark horse for the AFC Championship picture.
It's going to come down to them and the Chargers in the West.
Okay. So the initial statement that the Broncos are a dark horse AFC title contender, is that an agreement or a disagreement?
Disagreement.
Great. Am I going to get any agreements out of you?
I don't know.
All right, maybe if I switch up the sport, maybe I'll get something here. Let's talk about the NHL for a second. We've seen what happened with the Dallas Stars over the last couple of years. They have been a disappointment, especially in the Western Conference. I'm pretty sure it's been 2 straight years they lost in that Western Conference to the same opponent. We saw the disappointing series against the Edmonton Oilers. We saw the goalie get benched in the last game. I believe they need a factory reset, whether that be a head coaching change, whether that be a player mix-up. even though they are right there, it has been like 4 or 5 straight years where they're making the playoffs, they're just right there and they're about to win, and then they end up losing the whole thing. The Stars have only won one championship in franchise history. If they want to win another, change needs to happen. I believe change needs to start next year. Not a complete rebuild, but they need a reset.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
So what I was going to say was, let me ask you this. Okay. You're going with rebuild, new coach.
Not rebuild, reset.
Reset.
Reset's completely different from rebuild. Rebuild is start from scratch. I'm not saying start from scratch. I'm saying reset your team. Reset your team into a prime position of winning.
New coach. Some sort of mix-up.
Some sort of mix-up. I'm not saying a definite. I'm just saying you got to mix things up a little bit.
Are you saying that for the Oilers?
Absolutely, I would say that for the Oilers. Because this is 2 straight years that you lost to the same opponent in the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe that the Oilers is more expected than the Stars. The Stars is a team not a lot of people were talking about. But yeah, I would say the same thing about the Oilers. Absolutely. They're relying too heavily on McDavid. And that's something I actually said on Steel City about a month back.
Draisaitl as well.
Okay, 2 players.
I don't agree with the coach. I mean, if the coach has got him to the playoffs all these years, I don't think it's the coach. I think they're probably 1 or 2 players away from making a deeper run into the playoffs. I mean, listen, when you get into the playoffs in hockey, it comes down to goaltending and defense. Yeah, you need a little bit of scoring, but you get 1 or 2 goals, you win a game. If you got good defense, good goalie. We said it all throughout the playoffs. Look, who won the cup?
Florida Panthers.
Do you know why they won the cup?
They have a great goalie, an amazing defense, and they have the ability to spread the ice unlike anybody else.
That's what I would reset, my defense and goalie.
So
that's my thing. If I'm going to do anything, I'm not getting rid of a coach. It's taking me to playoffs.
Well, I'm not suggesting getting rid of a coach. I'm just saying they need to reset their team.
No, they just need to look on their weaknesses on their team to get different players.
So a reset.
If you want me to say reset to agree with you, there you go.
Is it an agreement or disagreement?
It depends if you're going with what I said, defense and goalie.
I didn't say anything specific. I just say they need to make change before they can go in the next year. They can't keep running back the same team.
As long as you don't say coach, I'm on the same page as you.
All right, agreement it is then. Agreement it is. Because I didn't say coach. I just said they got to change something. Next up, let's go over to the WWE for a second. Lots of things have been happening recently. One of them has been the whole R-Truth saga. Me and you covered it back a little while ago. He's officially back now. They signed him 72 hours before he made his return at Money in the Bank. And he's under a new name, his own personal name, Ron Killings, and a bit of a different side of him. Not the goofy, quirky side that we're used to seeing. It's more an aggressive side, kind of like we saw back in TNA back in the days. My hot take with R-Truth is I believe he should at least have 1 world title run before he retires, even if it's a short one. And the reason why is when you talk about a guy who's given back so much to the business, R-Truth is the definition of that. I'm not saying he should dethrone a John Cena or a Gunther or a Seth Rollins or a Cody Rhodes. I'm just saying that at one point within the next year or so, we should see R-Truth with world title, not a Intercontinental title, not a U.S. title, either the World Heavyweight or the WWE Championship around his waist and on his shoulder for all that he's done for the business. The fans are behind him. The WWE locker room is behind him. I don't see why it would be a disservice at all for him to be world champ. And I personally don't believe that'll take anything away from the NXT guys or any of the new towns coming up, because R-Truth winning it for the first time in his career, he's never won it in all the years he's been there. If he can win it at least one time, even if he only holds it for a month, maybe even a week or 2, maybe even if he just wins it and then Seth Rollins cashes in, I believe that should happen. So R-Truth should be world champion before he retires, officially.
So you're saying give him the pity belt.
I'm not saying give him a pity belt, but I'm just saying give him a championship.
You just said for one day.
What does that? That was sarcasm. But give R-Truth a championship. He should be world champion.
Let me ask you this: why do you think they brought him back?
Because the fans started a protest on social media for it, and they realized how valuable he was to the business.
Or, in business, in general, there's a saying: the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Do you understand what that means?
What does that mean?
If a wheel is squeaking, you usually put a little bit of oil on it.
Yeah.
Well, the fans were the squeaky wheel. And Triple H is giving them the oil. Hey, you can come back. You're no longer R-Truth. I'm still in control of you. You're no longer R-Truth. I'm taking that identity away from you. Now I'm making you come up with a new identity and prove to me you deserve what them people over there are saying about you.
I fully disagree with that. This is completely R-Truth's decision on wanting to become Ron Killings. He's the one that publicly wanted to change his character because things were starting to grow stale. He was starting to use the same things over and over again. And this is kind of a new reset for him. And let's be honest, Dad, do you believe the R-Truth character at this stage in his career is capable of winning the world title? I don't think so. I think you need to change to a Ron Killings to become a world champion.
Ron Killings, R-Truth.
He shaved his head and everything.
Good for him. I'll give him my barber.
He cut his own hair on the announce desk.
Anyways, where I'm going with this is, if you give him a belt after you did what you did, it's a pity belt. Period. End of story. It'll be a tarnished belt. It'll be like he did not earn it. Because you waited 20 years to give him that shot.
Let me ask you a question. When they brought back Goldberg back in 2017 and they had him beat Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series for the Universal Championship, would you say that was a pity belt?
Absolutely.
Okay. What about John Cena this year? Winning his 17th world title at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes.
Absolutely.
Would you say that was a pity belt? Even for as long as he's held it and the run he's had, would you still say that's a pity belt?
How many, what was the time frame from the last belt to this belt?
I think 2018. 2018 was the last time he was world champion.
What's it seem to you? Did he get better from 2018 to 2025?
But let's be honest, it was the right move to put the title on John Cena.
Let me ask you this. I'll throw it in football terms, okay? Since we like football. So you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who've won 2 straight NFL-type championships. They're Super Bowl champs for 2 years. They lost last year in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Now, if they are god-awful for the next 5 years, okay, and somehow the refs help them out, and somehow they get an easy schedule and they make it back to the Super Bowl, and they help them out again, that's a pity belt.
I mean, I guess when you put it like
kind of where I'm going with it. Like, Cena was irrelevant from 2018 till 2025 when he announces his retirement. Now we're going to give him the gold. I think it's great that they're sending him off that way. I'm just saying, I see it as pity.
Don't you believe, though, they should send off R-Truth in that same regard as well? Because, I mean, as talented as John Cena is, I would argue that R-Truth has gave back more to the business than John Cena. He's not as notable, but he certainly has put in more time, certainly put in more hours, more effort. Cena left for Hollywood. Truth never did. Don't we believe Ron Killings should at least have one world championship? Because if we did it to Goldberg and we did it to Cena, both of those were great moments. Even though, yeah, they're pity belts, they still were great moments when they won them at the time. I was more disappointed with Goldberg than Cena, but don't you believe at least like for a little bit, though, we should at least see one Ron Killings championship run before he retires?
The only problem with that is then when everybody goes to retire, they're going to give him pity belt.
Not necessarily, though. We never saw a Dolph Ziggler pity belt. We never seen... I mean, there's so
I'm just saying, why did it take 20 years for this man to be talking about a world championship belt? And why after 20 years are we going to give it to him?
So are you in agreement or disagreement that he should be world champion?
I disagree.
Okay. Well, we are on already 3 disagreements and 1 agreement so far in this episode. Next up, I believe I'm finally going to get you on an agreement.
Probably not.
I will bet you money I think I can actually get an agreement. This one's kind of bending the rules a little bit, but it's still sports related. 2 Jagoffs has done a lot of interviews over the last couple of months. I mean, we've interviewed politicians, we've interviewed broadcasters, student athletes, students, friends, a lot of different people.
NFL players, even a wrestler.
And that wrestler just so happened to be Andrew Palace from IWC, from Enjoy, he's pretty much a local-based Pittsburgh wrestler. My next sports confessions for you, that is, out of all the interviews that I have done personally so far in 2 Jagoffs, I personally believe Andrew Palace was the best one yet. I believe that we had the best chemistry. I believe we bounced off of each other perfectly well. I believe he gave great answers and I asked great questions. And out of all the interviews that I would recommend someone to listen to, I think Palace would be the first one.
With a heavy heart.
And I know there's a lot more interviews that's coming in the coming months, so you can do from Devontae Dean to who was the most recent one? Sam Bigham, because those were the most recent ones. I know at the time of this recording, Kulik hasn't came out yet. I know you're not going to say Bigham's, but we can talk about interviews from it.
I was going to say that about Kevin, but you threw Sam out there.
Okay. Well, Kevin and Sam is off the table then, most likely. So there's still 14 more you could choose from. One of them being Palace.
Out of respect to this person, I will choose Andrew Palace as my favorite interview. Next question.
What? Why aren't you... come on, you could go a little deeper into that. I mean,
I think he was in character the whole time. He's a goof. I love it. He was a goof. I loved it.
So you think it's better than Bill Hillgrove, Rob
The fact
King?
that he wanted to smack you around, I loved it. Kept putting you in check when you were trying to, make comments. I loved it.
So better than Ince Mikowski?
I want to go have a beer with him.
Okay. So just breaking it down for a second. Look at all the interviews that we've done.
I told you last time I talked to you about this. The fact that he doesn't do podcasts and he's seen something in you and he's not into sports broadcasting, that's probably the main reason why I would say Andrew Palace, besides the interview itself. I mean, that resonated pretty deep with me, so.
All right, now I want one last thing from you, then we can move on.
I said Andrew Palace. I mean, I got to say Andrew Palace.
Well, you're kind of speaking more from, like, my dad's perspective. I don't want you to be my dad for a second. I want you just to put yourself in the shoe of a random listener, of a viewer. Someone that has listened to every single interview, which I know you have done. I don't know if you finished Archer or not yet, but I know you listen to everybody else. Listening to every single interview that you have, do you still stand by that Palace is probably the best one, or at least the one that kept you the most engaged?
So I'm not acting as your dad for a second.
You're not acting as my dad for a second. I want your honest, unbiased opinion.
Hey, bro. I think Andrew Palace, dog, was pretty good, bro. Because he was engaged the whole time, bro.
Sound like you're from the south side of Chicago over there.
I'd act like one of you kids.
Okay, I don't think that's how we talk, but okay.
I talk to your cousin, my nephews, and your cousins like that.
Bet.
Riz.
No, not Riz. That's not the right context. Okay, so is that an agreement or a disagreement then?
I agreed with you 10 minutes ago.
Okay, cool. I want to clarify because I rarely get agreements out of you. All right, let's go.
Holy smokes! You want me to go send up smoke signals out back?
Yes. What do you want to do next, NFL or WWE?
Hit me with a WWE before I hit you.
Okay, let's talk about Liv Morgan for a second. It's unfortunate that she separated her shoulder and that she's been missing a lot of time, but I will argue right now that Liv Morgan is doing the best work of her career. That is my sports confession. She has beaten Ronda Rousey twice. She has been a multi-time women's world champion. She is a 4-time women's tag team champion. She's in the best feuds, the Judgment Day storyline, the Dominic Mysterio stuff. Everything has been golden. The promos have been phenomenal. She has real heat from fans and has quickly became a fan favorite. We originally looked at the Charlotte Flairs, Becky Lynch's, Sasha Banks, and Bayley's of the world to the Bianca Belairs and Rhea Ripley's. I feel like we are now in the Liv Morgan era. Liv Morgan is one of the faces of the women's division, and I believe this is the best work of her WWE career.
I agree 100%. The only thing is, I hope after she comes back from her separated shoulder, they get rid of the her and the Dom bit because... Are you kidding me?
Hey,
watching him make out with her? Oh my God! Blech.
Hey, as you just said earlier, I guess Dominic Mysterio has Riz.
Oh man,
he was able to pull Liv Morgan. Come on, Dad.
Oh good Lord, Liv, if you're listening,
dump him.
Drop the loser.
Drop Dirty Dom.
Or as they used to say, drop the zero and give it to hero.
Well, hey, Dom's Intercontinental Champion right now, so I mean, go where the gold is, I guess. Go where the money is.
You want to go back. Let's go back to something real quick. So you give that clown an Intercontinental Championship belt.
Yes.
But you didn't give R-Truth a belt for 20 years?
Oh, my God. No, R-Truth has been Intercontinental Champion, just not World Champion.
But I'm just saying, you didn't give him the World Champion, you give this clown Intercontinental Champion? Come on.
Well, I would also say Dom's doing some of the best work of his career, too.
Oh, my God.
The Judgment Day is booming right now.
Get a haircut, shave your mustache, Liv, drop the loser, and then I may jump aboard the Dom train.
Okay.
Till then, I'm not.
All right, so Dirty Dom's a no-no, but you agree with the Liv Morgan statement.
Correct.
All right, that's another.
Drop them.
That's 2 in a row. Let's see if we can make it 3.
Probably not.
Let's go back to the NFL for a second here. Jaden Daniels had a spectacular season last year for the Washington Commanders, and I believe they're going to have another one this year. But as most quarterbacks suffer in their NFL career, I personally believe, I don't think he's going to be necessarily bad or be a one-season wonder like we saw other quarterbacks be, but I definitely smell a Jaden Daniels sophomore slump on the horizon. And what I mean by that is I believe we're going to see a more stepped-back version of Jaden Daniels going in the next year. It's not every day that you see a rookie quarterback make it to the NFC Championship and nearly the Super Bowl in his first year. I mean, actually, nobody has done that before. Jaden Daniels is the only name on that list. But with the way the Washington Commanders are built and with the rest of the NFC East and how it is formed, I believe that Jaden Daniels will struggle in some games next year. I can see him folding under pressure, which is rare because Daniels has always done well under pressure. He did good at LSU, which is why he won the Heisman Trophy. That's also why he was drafted above Drake May and was drafted number 2 overall last year by the Commanders. Overall, though, I don't think it's going to be as bad of a step back as a C.J. Stroud. I'll bring him up because we saw him hit a sophomore slump last year. But I definitely see a more stepped back version. I'm not saying they're not a playoff contender. I'm not saying they can't compete in the playoffs. I'm just saying we're going to see Jaden Daniels take a step back next year. Not a big one, but a noticeable one. Sophomore slump on the horizon. And all great quarterbacks have experienced this. They'll be right back up there again, but I don't see an MVP season. Most have. Most have.
Okay. Because one comes to mind, it didn't.
Mahomes, I know.
He won a Super Bowl sophomore year.
Well, Mahomes is a different animal.
I'm just saying, I don't believe in the sophomore curse.
You did with C.J. Stroud.
I may have with him, but I don't believe in it all. With every quarterback is just to make a blanket statement. I may have with him. I can't remember what the argument was back then, why I said it, whatever. I honestly see them winning their division this year, so I would totally disagree. I think they're going to upset Philly and win that division.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think Philly's going to lose some key parts, and I believe Jaden Daniels and them are going to win the division this year. So I disagree with that statement. And I look a lot of him as what I seen in Mahomes at his beginning of his career. Obviously not the athletic talent. Nothing against him. He's a great quarterback.
I mean, he is athletically gifted.
Yeah, but I mean, Mahomes is a different... And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Chiefs fan. He's a different animal.
So you're saying Jaden Daniels is the closest resemblance of Patrick Mahomes since Patrick Mahomes, pretty much?
My opinion, yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's some high praise.
Yeah. So I would disagree with the fact that I think he goes into a sophomore slump. If anything, I think this year they win their division.
See, here's the thing. I don't know if I want to fully get on board with that yet, and I'm not mad at that. I'm really not, because I would love to see a Jaden Daniels and a Washington Commanders Super Bowl run. I would love to see them win the NFC East. But when I look at the competition there, I mean, I would say the NFC East is more tougher than the AFC North this year. I mean, look at the rest of the teams. The Eagles, they just won the Super Bowl. They're red hot right now. They have the momentum. Will they be in a Super Bowl slump? That's still up in the air. As much as I can't stand the Cowboys, I mean, they're going to be there. They're going to be competing. The New York Giants, as bad as they are, they can upset the Commanders in one of the 2 games they play next year. So I take all that into consideration when I think about the Washington Commanders. And let's not forget the rest of this NFC. I mean, I'm not going to go through every team because we'll be here for another hour. But, I mean, there's a lot going on.
Plus the fact I hate Philly, so.
Okay. So that's a disagreement then.
Yeah, that's just a Pittsburgh thing. I hate Philly. Philly, I hate you. Sorry.
So you hate the Sixers, hate the Flyers,
I hate them all.
Hate them all. Okay. What about Bryce Harper?
I like him personally. I hope they never win nothing.
Okay. Back over to the NFL. Staying on the NFL, excuse me, for a second. Let's go back to the AFC North. Joe Burrow, in my opinion, is the second best quarterback in football right now, but that's not my sports confession. My sports confession to you, that is, I believe that Joe Burrow would have won the MVP last year if the Bengals made the playoffs. I mean, let's be honest. The Ravens and Bills both were phenomenal. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson were both playing lights out. But when you break down the initial numbers and you look at a Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson all on paper, Joe Burrow beat both of them in every single category. I believe it was simply favoritism from the NFL. If Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals had maybe one more win and was able to squeeze into that playoffs, even if they were first-round exits, he would have been front runner for MVP. But since they were not, and the Bills and Ravens are, that's why it was between Allen and Jackson, and Allen won it. I believe Joe Burrow should have been MVP. Would have been.
I'm going to shout out to Kyle Archer. One of his interviews, he's like, are we allowed to swear on here?
Yeah.
So, are we still allowed to swear on here?
We can still swear on here. Depends.
That's the biggest bullshit award, first off, in football.
Okay.
The MVP. It's bullshit. The reason why I say that is it's on favoritism. It's not who's the best player that year. It's who's the best player on a winning team. Quarterback on a winning team. Mm-hmm. Period. So yeah, it's bullcrap. He should have got it. No questions asked. I told you, and I told Lucas, and you both looked at me like I was crazy. I told you, I think it was week 14 or 15, 16, around that neighborhood. I said, if they make the playoffs, they will beat the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. I did tell you guys that. I don't know what episode it was. I believe they were the most scariest team in the AFC at the time. Do you remember me telling you that?
I do remember you telling me that.
And I still hold to that because Joe Burrow is a bad man, as Stephen A. once said. Dude, he's a good quarterback. So, yes, I totally agree on the bullshit award. Favoritism to the quarterbacks who have a winning team.
Okay.
Because, listen, Lamar Jackson wasn't the best quarterback last year. I'm sorry, he just wasn't.
He wasn't, no. It was Allen. I mean, well, it was Burrow, but I'm just saying between Allen and Jackson, yeah.
I'm just saying, but at the end of the day, he didn't win nothing for his team. If anything, he loses for his team when they make to the playoffs.
Okay. I got a bit of a fun one for the next one for you, Dad. It's not even really a sports confession, I mean, unless you're including me as a sports guy, which I am. I'm a sports broadcaster. I do not look like JFK.
No.
Please debunk the rumors that I look like President John F. Kennedy when I'm wearing a suit and I'm all shaved and I look nice.
The people that are saying you look like JFK,
because multiple people have said it now.
they probably need their eyes checked. JFK was fat. You're skinny.
He was fat? I don't know if he
Pudgy,
was fat.
pudgy. We'll go with pudgy in the face.
Okay, he was, yeah.
He was thicker.
He had a thick jawline.
Yeah, I mean, what? Because your hair parts to one side? Is that the reference?
Maybe I'm just a stereotypical white guy in a suit. I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Apparently, when you put
I'm gonna put a picture beside it. You don't look anything like him.
Well, it's when I'm wearing a suit and I'm freshly shaved and I actually have my hair all done nice. I just got done cutting grass, so I definitely don't look like JFK right
So
now.
if I'm drinking a beer, I look like Stone Cold?
No! I mean, you look
We
more
just
like...
got the same haircut, that's all.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, you look more like Stone Cold than I look like JFK. Let's just be honest. No, let's be honest for a second. You're a bald, buff guy. I'm just a white dude in a suit. There's a difference there.
So give me a bald guy then. Just give me a bald guy.
A bald guy? A Bill Burr.
So I look like Bill Burr?
I mean, you're not...
When I'm telling jokes, I look like Bill Burr?
I mean-
No, it's the most ridiculous stuff I've ever heard. Just because you're wearing a suit, you look like JFK? I'm going to start a movement. No longer calling you JFK.
Please, I'm a beg of you. Everybody has said it.
Yeah. Who, Lucas?
Lucas has said it.
Lucas's opinion.
Sam Bigham said it. Kevin said it.
Boo!
Mr. Jack Dean has said it.
Who's that? I don't even know that guy. Go ahead.
Carl Archer even said it.
Kyle, man, I just threw a shout out to you. What do you...
I know he said...
No, actually, he said don't be in no convertible.
Open convertibles and stay away from
Well,
Dallas.
I mean, I agree with that, too. So,
Stay
I
away.
mean, that's good business there, Kyle.
Okay. Who else said it? There's a lot of people that said it. I look like JFK, I guess. I don't know.
Did Robbie Nkasi say it?
I don't think the JFK jokes were alive yet. So I'll have to get Robbie's opinion on it.
Let's get Robbie's opinion. I'd like to hear. Robbie, make the right decision. Don't go with Lucas. Then you're going to be a jagoff just like Lucas.
Well, Robbie already called Lucas Jagoff multiple times. So.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start calling Robbie a jagoff if he agrees with Lucas.
Okay, so you agree with me that
I mean, there goes my hookup. Sorry, Robbie.
Robbie's a good guy. He won't care. So do you agree with that statement? I do not look like JFK.
No, I think it's ridiculous.
Okay, thank you. All right, back to getting you on my bad side again. Let's talk about the NFL here for a second, and let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts quarterback room. Daniel Jones has been phenomenal in OTAs. Coaches has been impressed. The NFLPA has been impressed. And honestly, Colts fan has been impressed. Do you believe that it's finally time that Daniel Jones should be the starter over Anthony Richardson? I say yes, for the simple fact that Richardson gave up on his team last year. I think that if you're going to bring in Jones on this one-year contract, if he's already performing the way he's performing in OTAs, he's probably going to do the same in training camp. Why not give him a shot week one, see how he does? My hot take and my sports confession to you is that Daniel Jones should be QB1 over Anthony Richardson. Week one. It's between those two. I know neither one of them are good quarterbacks, but it's between those two right now.
So, you went from a guy that tapped out in football, which you don't do that. Just like Tom Hanks said, and
Well, they still have him, but yeah.
there's no crying in baseball. Remember Tom Hanks said that in a movie?
Yes.
Listen, he tapped out. I have no respect for that. I never will. I don't want to ever see him start another NFL game. I want to see him get cut because that's god-awful. You're a quitter. With that being said, so you went from that pile of garbage to this pile of garbage that may not have the smell now, which is Daniel Jones. He should be the week one starter so they could lose again. Who are they playing? Do we know? I think I might have just said it. Who were we talking about before?
Wasn't the Broncos?
I think it might be the Broncos. They're going to get beat by probably 20. So does it matter if Daniel Jones your starter or the quitter?
You're going to lose either way.
You're going to lose either way. Listen, Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. This ain't Connecticut. Is that where he went to college?
Duke.
Duke, whatever. Knew it was some yuppie school. Yeah, I agree with you. But
Oh, wow.
I definitely don't think it matters. I think he's garbage.
Well,
I don't think he's a good quarterback.
I don't think either one of them is going to be with the Colts next year, but I just found it interesting that Jones is lighting it up right now. And I mean, if you're already lighting up now and the coaches are behind you, and Anthony Richardson did what he did last year, why wouldn't you start the guy you believe more in?
You know what? I like to do this on the podcast.
I know.
So he's lighting it up in OTAs, short shoulder pads, and helmets. Congrats. Nobody's hitting you, bud. Nobody's chasing you, bud. Congrats. You want me to jump on the train? You want me to give you the ring? What do you want me to give you? You're an NFL quarterback making millions of dollars. You can throw to an open receiver in OTAs, short shoulder pads, and helmet. I have no respect for that comment.
All right. Let's move over to the UFC for a second. We don't really talk much boxing on here. And I just have a general statement, and please don't get too political with this one, because I don't want to either, but it's going to be kind of hard not to.
We've had politicians on here. We're good.
We have had them, but they've all stayed pretty unbiased, at least.
I might go back to you look like JFK if I'm not allowed to say my political view.
Okay. Just don't. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't even give you this one, but here it is. The UFC, to me, is dying because of too much politics. And what I mean by that, I'll keep this as general as I possibly can. The political ties that they have with outside politicians and the events that they host and put on, to me, makes the sport, I wouldn't say unwatchable, but hard to watch. UFC is too political.
Why don't you just say with who it is?
Current president.
Who is?
President Donald Trump.
No. Dana White.
Oh, yes. I thought you meant the actual president.
No, I'm talking about the president of
Okay,
the
well,
UFC.
president of the UFC, Dana White. Yes, I believe Dana White is making the UFC too political.
Once again, here's another thing. I agree with you, first off. I agree. But here's another incident. Don't go, yes. I didn't.
I got
finish.
excited. You agreed with me.
I could change up. I'm a wild card. I don't know which way my head's going right now. I just know Dana White just needs to shut up and run the UFC. Period. Stay out of politics. You want to be a Republican, you want to be a Democrat, I don't care. Nobody cares. I want to watch people beat the snot out of each other. You put it on TV. That's what I want to watch. I don't care what your opinion is. It's like LeBron James when he wants to tell me his opinion on politics. I don't care. Just dunk a basketball. Shoot a three. That's all I want to see. It's like when an actor, who I forget who it was. Who was one of the big actors? Whoopi Goldberg. We'll just throw a name out there. She wants to give her political opinion. I don't care what your political opinion is. Make a movie. Make me laugh. Make me cry. That's all I want to see. I don't care what your opinion is.
Yeah.
Leave the politics to politics. Leave the fighting to fighting. The sports to sports. Period. I agree with you.
Let's go. Okay.
You almost lost me.
Sorry for almost losing you. This one I'm definitely going to lose you on. Logan Paul.
Oh, gosh.
Logan Paul was always on my bad side. I never liked him as a YouTuber growing up. I was one of the people that try to stay away from him. When he first joined the WWE, I was very highly critical of him. I'm actually distancing myself from Prime now. I really don't care for the drink as much as I once did. I think his boxing career is overrated. I think his podcast is okay to an extent, but I don't really care for as much. But in terms of his professional wrestling ability, he is one of the best wrestlers today. For the simple reason that he puts on entertaining matches, he takes risks that a lot of current stars are not willing to take. Every time that he's out there, he generates real heat from the audience, which works. And he has been in the ring with some of the greatest of all time, and every single time that he's been out there, he has performed at the highest level. He's worked with John Cena. It was amazing. He worked with Cody Rhodes. It was amazing. He worked with Roman Reigns. It was amazing. He's worked with Seth Rollins. He's worked with Ricochet. He's worked with LA Knight. He's worked with so many different wrestlers out there, and every single time he's been out there, he has put on a masterclass. He has put on an incredible performance. He's probably going to be world champion one day. That's not my hot take, though, because I don't know if I'm still ready for that yet. But I will say that as of right now, Logan Paul is one of the best professional wrestlers in the game.
Coming from a guy who has a stand with all the Prime bottles.
Not anymore. I took them all down. I mean, there's some over there.
As I'm sitting here, I see Prime. As I look over there, I see Prime.
Don't act like you didn't have Prime yesterday.
I drink a Prime. I'm not the one hating on Logan Paul in the Prime.
Okay, so do you believe he's one of the best wrestlers today?
I didn't even get to that yet.
Go ahead.
I'm getting on you first. You're telling me, now all of a sudden, hundreds of dollars later, I'm not going to purchase Prime.
I don't know. I've never said that. I have Prime in my fridge too. I'm just saying that I've been distancing myself from it because I'm picky and I don't really care for it as much.
Okay, well, that's different.
But
You made it sound like as a Logan Paul you were distancing
What's
yourself.
the 3 things I drink the most right now? Be honest.
Coke, Pepsi, and Coke.
Well, you could throw water and beer in there too, but yeah, Coke and Pepsi is mostly what I drink.
Okay. I don't think Pepsi unless we buy Pepsi. But anyways, so now all of a sudden we're taking a stance on Prime. Okay, look. I think Logan Paul's one ugly dude, first off.
That I agree with you on.
He needs a better haircut, number one. Like, dude, what's going on? If I ever went to the barber, go to a hair salon. If the barber ain't working, go to a hair salon. Go to Supercuts. Go. I don't know. Go somewhere, bud. Your hair is god awful. You're up there with Mysterio's hairdo.
Mysterio's Paul, like you.
No, not that.
Oh, Dom.
Yes.
I think you meant Ray. I'm about to say
Dirty Dom. But anyways.
Why are you still on Dirty Dom?
So you need a haircut. You need to shut up because sometimes on the mic he sounds like a moron.
He's gotten better though.
But I will give him his wrestling ability. But it goes with the thing. Money can buy you whatever you want.
It can, but wouldn't you say he's proven himself now?
He became a very good wrestler because he spent a lot of money learning. What I'm trying to say is he's had trainers, he's had coaches, he's had all the right things that some wrestlers may not have coming up. Like if, let's say, all right, here we'll go with, who's the guy from AEW that was dating Britt Baker? It's married to her.
Adam Cole. Baby.
Worked his way up.
Yeah.
Look how long it took him to get to where he got.
It took him a while.
Logan Paul, look how long it took him. That's the point I was trying to make.
Wouldn't you say, though, that even with that lack of training at first, Logan Paul still you can throw him in the ring with practically anyone and he's still entertaining? I mean, like, he's worked Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber.
I know, but I'm just saying, you're saying his rise. So I'm going with his rise. Yeah,
but it's not like he did a lot to get there.
In a short period of time because he had money. That's where I'm going with that. That's my only thing.
Okay.
I'm not agreeing with you. I'm just saying, you're Adam Cole, and that's a great example. He worked through the indie circuit.
He did.
Logan Paul never had to go to an indie circuit. We went to 880. We went to IWC. We went to Joy Wrestling. We went to all these wrestling where they're like me and you getting in the ring, beating the crap out of each other. Logan Paul didn't do that.
That is fair. So
that's my take on him. But yes, he's definitely one of the better wrestlers, top wrestlers now.
Oh wow, a lot of agreements. We're getting a lot more. I like it. Well, let's go.
Well, next time, don't interrupt, and I'll get to the point. Maybe we'll get an agreement.
Okay.
You keep interrupting, I'm just going to keep disagreeing to disagree.
No, please don't. I like disagreements. Okay. It's nice. Let's talk about the NHL again. I think this is my second to last hockey one, and then I have a couple more for you after that. Bob Roski from the Florida Panthers had an amazing performance in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I mean, you can talk about so many different players. Barkov was amazing. Marchand winning his second Stanley Cup after coming over from the Bruins. He won that almost a decade back. Let's not forget about Sam Reinhart, who had 4 of the 5 goals in that final game to seal the deal and win the Stanley Cup. They still got Seth Jones and Sam Bennett. There's so many different players out there we could talk about, but I personally believe now that he has won his second straight Stanley Cup, when we look at every single goalie right now in the NHL, the number one guy that should be on that list is Bob Roski. I believe he's now the best goalie in the National Hockey League.
Hall of Famer.
Well, I know he's a Hall of Famer. I'm just saying, as of right now,
Hall of Famer.
Best goalie in hockey.
Best goalie in hockey.
So you agree with that statement?
100%. I can't even argue anything you said. I told you if he played good, they'd win the cup. And I picked him in 6 games. They won the cup in 6 games. Mm-hmm. Bennett scored 15, 16 goals in that series.
Marchand was great, too.
Marchand was great.
Which
by the way, you know what? I just want to say this. Screw you, Evander Kane. Screw you, dude. You're a jerk. Did you see what he did?
No.
He took a 10-minute major in Game 6, slashed, I believe, it was Kachuk, because they got something going on. There's something going on between social media. We'll Google it. We'll pull it up. Slashed him, took a 10-minute major, and then you coward that you are, you wouldn't come out for the handshake. You're a coward.
Wow.
I don't like that. That's Bush League. That's garbage. I do not like that.
That actually is pretty bad. Wow.
Pull up the video. You'll see it. He ducked in so he wouldn't have to shake hands. Look, bud, at the end of the day, you win or lose, you go shake the opponent's hand. That's the way I was raised. Anything less than that, I'm going to come at you.
Couldn't agree more there. Okay. So we're in another agreement.
Yeah.
All right, we have 3 more left for this episode, Dad, and I'm going to give you this next one. NFL. Tua Tagovailoa, the current quarterback of the Miami Dolphins, has had an unfortunate rise the last couple of years. He made the playoffs one year and didn't even get to play in that game. Actually, Skylar Thompson was the starter due to how many quarterback injuries there were. And the injuries has pretty much been the story of most of his, not just NFL, but football career. With that all being said, I feel awful for him. I wish him nothing but the best. I wish he would stay healthy. But since there has been little to no success with the Dolphins and we're seeing all these players want out, I believe this is the year where Tua Tagovailoa is now on the hot seat. You got paid, you have all these players around you, and you could not win anything. Mike McDaniel, we may have to start talking about him being on the hot seat sooner than later, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump the gun there just yet. Tua Tagovailoa has to prove himself this year. He's on the hot seat.
Thought he was on a hot seat last year.
Well, he got hurt, but yeah. Again.
I mean, listen. At what point I thought it was going to be last year. Did Waddle and Tariq Hill were calling to get out of Miami?
I think Hill was already calling to get out.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming. They're not going to be good this year. He's still concussion away from a career-ending injury. I mean, if they don't see what I see, he's on his hot seat. Like they don't have a deep playoff run. I see them getting rid of him. So I agree with that.
Okay, another agreement. Last NFL one that we have for the episode, and then I have a bonus question for you. Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Deshaun Watson.
Wait, say them again?
Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco. Those are the 5 quarterbacks that make up the Cleveland Browns quarterback room. Obviously, we've seen Deshaun Watson in all his legal battles. Joe Flacco has returned now to the Browns after having a significant regress with the Colts. Both Gabriel and Sanders were drafted. Gabriel still undetermined. Sanders dealing with legal trouble. And then Kenny Pickett, although he won the Super Bowl last year as a backup quarterback, we've seen how he's played in both Philly and Pittsburgh. Out of all those 5 quarterbacks that I just named you, I personally believe that Joe Flacco should be the starter week 1, and here's why. When you look at this team, it's obvious that Kenny Pickett is that emergency Browns quarterback. We've seen a bunch of emergency quarterbacks throughout the years. We've seen the Bailey Zappies of the world. We've seen the Dorian Thompson-Robinsons, the P.J. Walkers. He's simply there because the Browns can't catch a break with quarterback injuries. Maybe he'll serve as a backup. Maybe. I don't think he'll be a mentor because what is he mentoring? But he'll definitely be there as a backup option. Deshaun Watson's on his way out the door. I don't think he's going to start another game as a Brown because for the simple fact that they can't win games, and I think Stefanski is now past the Watson era. I think either he's going to be sat most of the year and they're going to try and cut or trade him or get rid of him. But his contract is too much. This leaves you with Flacco and the rookies. When you look at the rookies, it's going to be a rookie battle to see who gets mentored by Flacco. Flacco, I think, should be the starter for the simple fact that, yeah, he's not going to be the starter full year. We're definitely going to see other quarterbacks. We're probably going to see all of them at least sometime throughout the season because they're not going to win anything. But starting off the year, why would you put either one of your rookies into a bad situation? Gabriel, I think, has the better shot over Sanders for the simple fact they drafted him higher than him. Sanders, I feel like, was a pity pick. I feel like they only picked him because they felt like they had to and management got in the way of it. But with all the stuff that Sanders has going on and with all the, I guess, trust issues that they have with Gabriel, it would be stupid not to start Flacco, a guy that actually took you to the playoffs 2 years ago. So I personally believe out of those 5 quarterbacks, Flacco should get the call for week 1 starts. I'm not saying he should start the full year. I'm not saying he's going to do anything with them. All I'm simply saying is if you said, Austin, who should be the Browns starting quarterback week 1? Joe Flacco.
I think we talked about this on one of the podcasts. I can't remember which one it was, me, you, and Lucas.
Okay.
And I think you two laughed at me when I said it, if I remember correctly. Because we were going through, it was right after the draft, I believe. And
draft recap, I think.
Yeah, and you had talked about Flacco and I can't remember what Lucas said. I think he might have said...
Maybe Watson?
No, he did not say Watson.
Because you said Watson.
I think he might have said... Who was the other one? There was Watson, Pickett...
Sanders, and Gabriel.
I think he might have said Sanders. But I don't want to quote what Lucas may have said. And I said Watson. And the reason why I'm going to say Watson again, if you were just going to cut him, okay, to your analogy, his cap hit is $37 million this year. So if you were to cut him sometime throughout the year, you still have to pay him $46 million for this year. So why in the hell would you not cut him before the season starts and then he's no longer going to be a potential starter? Or why didn't you cut him last year at the end of the season knowing you still owe him $46 million. That's why I think I play him for $46 million week 1. And I have Joe Flacco. I have Kenny Pickett. I have Sanders. Let's face it, the Browns ain't making the playoffs. The Browns ain't making a playoff Super Bowl run. They're not making it deep in the playoffs. What's another year with another shitty quarterback?
So there's a disagreement.
Yeah, because, I mean, you're paying $46 million. If I'm paying $46 million, dude, you're going to be out there breaking bones.
Okay. So that's a disagreement then.
Yeah, I mean, I went with him, and I'm going to stay with him.
I'm going to stay with him. Well, I was looking...
He's by far, and one of the other reasons why, by far the most talented out of that group. By far.
By far.
Even if he's a shell of what he was, Flacco was never as good as him. Kenny Pickett's never going to be as good as him. I don't see Sanders being as good as him. Deshaun Watson at one time was right next to Patrick Mahomes. Everybody seems to forget that. His legal troubles and everything else. What he needs is, he needs some counseling. He needs a good support group. Somebody got to get him back to where he was.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. No broadcaster, nobody can do that. Nope. Probably not even a coach could do that. That's a family issue. He needs a support system. I don't know if he's guilty. I don't know if he's innocent. That's not for me to determine. I don't really care one way or the other. Doesn't affect my life.
So that's a disagreement then.
Correct.
All right. All right, Dad. Well, I gave you all 15 of the questions that I had prepared, but I was thinking about this actually when we were talking about the whole Palace interview, and I want to get your opinion on this now, just from an overall perspective, because you're a part of the two Jagoffs team. You're one of the two intertwining Jagoffs. You're one of the two secondary Jagoffs, with Lucas, of course. And I want to talk about the podcast overall, and I guess I can kind of tie that into my last confession, and hopefully it's an agreement. I would be pretty disappointed in myself if it wasn't. I believe...
Well, let's see. You keep looking at me like that, it might be a disagreement.
Oh, God, thanks. I believe with the way things are going right now, with the interviews, the consistent uploads, the promos on social media, the rise in the audience that we've seen, and the support system that we now have with two Jagoffs, with you and Lucas being on the team, with, I guess, Kevin, Nick, and Jack also helping every once in a while, with all the guests.
Nick who?
Downtown Nick Brown.
Oh, dear
From Steel
Lord.
City Commuters.
New Ken Nick.
New Ken Nick. Yeah, there you go. I call him Prince Brown now. He looks like Prince with that curly hair. He looks like
he
Prince.
needs to get a haircut. What's going on
He just
there?
got one today.
Oof.
He just got one today. But I call him Prince Brown now. I say you look like Purple Rain over there. So I believe with the team that we have now and with all the people that have so graciously given their time to join us here on Two Jagoffs, this is the best Two Jagoffs has ever been. Best content we've been putting out in Two Jagoffs' 3-year lifespan.
Be a moron not to agree with you.
And I want your opinion.
I mean, look at what has happened in the last 5 months. Let's go last 5 months.
Okay.
NFL athlete, pro wrestler, sports broadcasters in all 3 major sports in Pittsburgh.
4.
4.
If you want to be, it's called soccer too, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Sorry, Cal. Didn't mean to disrespect you, buddy. So I'd be a moron not to agree. I mean, if people love me, why not? You know what I mean? No, I'm kidding. Why not? I mean, it's grown. That's what you wanted. You know, you got all the different interviews. You got politicians. You got 1, 2, couple. I don't know how many exactly, but
3.
You brought 3 politicians on. I don't know, Kevin, I love you, buddy. Thanks for your help.
What about Mr. Jack Dean?
I don't know this guy. You keep saying this guy's name. I don't know who he is.
He was the one that was the closest in the Super Bowl special when all 4 of us predicted.
You mean the dude who still changes his brakes? He ever gets his brakes changed?
I think he did. I think he got his brakes changed.
Good for you, Jack. I seen him hit you with a chair. He's not real good at swinging a chair.
Oh yeah, what'd you think about all that stuff?
Some of it.
The promos are doing really good too. I mean, social media numbers have been growing. We're on X, TikTok, Instagram.
I want a promo where I get to hit everybody on the Jagoff team with a chair. Me.
You've already tackled me and forcefully made me do push-ups.
So guess what? Lucas, Jack, Kevin, Nick Brown.
You want to spear me through a closet door?
I'm coming for you guys with a chair.
Revenge. The chair's right there.
And then I'm letting, as Nick Brown likes to say, the First Lady of Carnegie to take a swing at some of them.
She was on the podcast too, actually.
Yeah, and I beat her.
Yeah, you did.
I beat her in the game show. 1-0 Dad.
1-0 Dad. Let me ask you this, Dad, just to end off in closing here for Two Jagoffs. with all the stuff that we have currently going on right now, with the interviews, with all the new content, with us approaching our 3-year anniversary, just doing some reflection here for a second. What's some of your favorite stuff you like to do here on the podcast? Because we have the interviews, we have the weekly episodes. I know my personal favorite that's coming up in a couple months is our NFL weekly predictions, where me and Lucas all get together and we talk about every single game. I think that's the best content that we put out. I mean, just what do you think about now the wide variety of stuff we're able to produce? I mean, Lucas Carries is a brand new series we just started.
Do you want my opinion on what I like the most?
Yeah, like just talk about the content for a second. Like, what do you think about all the new content that
I like arguing with you two. I don't know if you know that.
Well, that's what this whole episode is, pretty much.
Listen, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy arguing. That's my job. Outside of here, that is my job. That is my profession. My profession is to argue with people.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So, watching you and Lucas shake your head, get mad, blah, 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 blah. I love doing it. And I like watching you succeed at your passion. So
thank you, Dad. You don't like any the specific episodes like Lucas Carries, Ask Austin Anything?
No, I like them
predictions.
All. I've listened to them all. Hey, I've even listened to Steel City, all their episodes too.
Oh, what do you think of Steel City Commuters? That's a pretty good podcast. Not as good as Two Jagoffs, but it's a pretty good podcast.
It's pretty good. I think I'll be on soon.
Very soon, yeah.
I mean, if it's still there, because Nick, I ain't running for mayor. I know. Sorry, bud.
We've heard that very loud and clear.
I don't know. I mean, I like it all. So, this pick is specific is probably going to take a while.
All right. Well, Dad, I appreciate you so much for coming on for the second edition of Sports Confessions. I want to do this again, but I want to have Lucas here next time because I figured maybe if he prepares 5 to 10 questions, I prepare 5 to 10, and then we kind of just let you go off the rails. I think that would bring a little bit more debate aspect. What do you think about that? Maybe give that a shot next time.
I like it. Okay, so I do have one question.
Yeah,
and Lucas is always absent when I'm here lately, so whatever.
I know. What the hell's wrong with him?
I don't know. Big shot now. Big Point Park guy. Big shot. Anyways, so when we were in Notre Dame.
Oh, God, not Notre Dame again.
I don't know if anybody really remembers this. We were walking. There's probably a group of 12 to 15 of us, and I have no idea why this even came up. But I get reminded of it because I have Sirius Radio, 90s at 9 all the time.
Okay.
And I listen to that station because I love the 90s. That's what I grew up on. I love the 90s. Long story short, we're on our way through Notre Dame, and if you ever get a chance to go to Notre Dame, it's a true college atmosphere. It's not like going to a Pitt game where you go down to the city, you park on the north side, you go to a game. At Notre Dame, you park on the campus, you walk through the campus. At the end of the campus, where there's all the frat houses and all the buildings for all the classes and everything, is a stadium. It is a true college atmosphere. And on the way through, I guess, we had a long time to walk and talk. Somebody in the group, who I can't remember who it was, probably Jason or Vicky or somebody, I don't know, brings up guilty pleasure songs on the radio.
Oh, why?
I have no idea why they brought it up. I didn't bring it up. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember this. I remember what my answer was.
So I'm going to ask you to tell the listeners what your guilty pleasure song was, and then I'll share mine.
Why are you bringing this up?
I don't know. It's a confession. Isn't that what this episode is? It's a confession.
We're not in a confession box like we're in church. This is just sports confession.
Well, this is a music confession.
Okay. Well, I still stand by the same answer that I gave Vicky and Jason at Notre Dame, and that is The Sweet Escape by Gwen Stefani.
Oh, dear Lord.
But I'm not going to lie to you. I think my opinion has shifted a little bit since then. I'm a pretty big Sabrina Carpenter listener now, so give me a name.
It's just because you think she's good looking.
Oh, I think Gwen Stefani was good looking too in her prime, so yeah, Sabrina Carpenter. Are you
Mine
kidding?
has nothing to do with looks.
Okay, if you're talking about just music, Gwen Stefani, The Sweet Escape is a banger.
Okay. Do you remember what mine was?
No, I honestly don't now that you're mentioning it, but I'm curious to know.
And Jason and Vicky, if you're listening, you know this happens. When it comes on, which is pretty damn frequently,
Is
on
it?
90s at 9,
Oh, never mind.
I take a picture of it and send it to somebody. And I don't say nothing, I just send the picture. It is TLC Waterfall.
Oh, that's a good one, though. That's not a bad song.
I have no idea why that song, when I hear it, I get in a good mood. I could be having the worst day, I hear it, I get in a good mood. Then I take a picture of it on my phone and I send it out.
I thought you would say Miley Cyrus Party in the USA.
No, that was if that TLC didn't do that, that probably would. But that's strictly because that made you and your sister laugh the one day in the car. That was all that was about.
Okay. So yes, what made you even think about that? I was wondering where you were going. You started talking about Notre Dame, and what the hell are you talking about Notre Dame?
Listen, you said this is sports confession. I figured we'd confess to the listeners that we have some music confessions of.
Okay.
It's a guilty pleasure that makes us laugh or makes you feel good, whatever.
Well, Gwen Stefani and Sabrina Carpenter, those are probably my two.
I just have TLC right now.
Just TLC?
Waterfalls.
That's fair. That's fair.
And listen, I'm not attracted to. I was never thought any of them were cute or anything. I'm not battling women. I'm just saying that has nothing to do with their looks. Mine was strictly on.
Well, I'm saying the
song.
same thing. Yeah, I like Taste. I like Manchild. I like Espresso. I like what's the other one that she does? Please, please, please. Those are good songs.
But you said Sabrina Carpenter because she's hot.
Okay, well, fine. If we're not talking about looks, well, Sabrina Carpenter's music is also good too.
I just wanted you to know mine's not because of looks. Mine is.
Well,
because
mine's
of
not
the song.
either. Gwen Stefani's not either. It's a good song. Hollaback Girl's pretty good too.
I think if I had a second one, believe it or not, it would be Redbone. Come get my love.
What about California Girls by Katy Perry?
If I'm gonna go California anything, I'm gonna go California Love by Tupac.
Well, I'd hope that's not a guilty pleasure song. I hope that's not.
All right. With that being said, that's all I had.
That's all you had? Okay, well, to end off today's episode, I just wanted to remind you what the score was for our overall sports confessions that we had. I'm not including our music guilty pleasure songs. I'm only including the 16 that I gave you. Out of the 16 questions that I've asked, you agreed on 11 of them, and you only disagreed on 5. So you actually agreed with me more this time around than you disagreed with me on. I'm pretty surprised.
You know, I just realized you had a Stone Cold picture right there staring at me.
Yeah, and he looks just like you. Just without the earrings.
Son of a bitch, he does. I guess that guy in Atlantic City was right.
I guess he was. So you look more like Stone Cold than I look like JFK. That's
I just wish you wouldn't have said it when I was taking a pee in a bathroom, but that's another time.
We might have to just have a whole nother episode of confessions.
You never heard that story?
No.
Me and your pappy and your mom and your nunny went to Atlantic City.
Okay.
Stone Cold was big at the time. They had bathroom attendants, and there was a guy in there as the bathroom attendant. Me and your pappy went into the bathroom at Planet Hollywood, I believe it was. And I'm standing there peeing, and he comes over to me and goes, "Give me a hell yeah!" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Give me a hell yeah!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm trying to go to the bathroom." I'm like, "Will you stop talking to me?" He's like, "If you give me a hell yeah, I will." So I said, "Hell yeah." And he's like, "I knew you looked like Stone Cold." Ask your pappy about it.
I think I do
True
remember
story.
this story.
Random strangers yelling at me when I'm peeing. Does you say hell yeah?
Well, can you give me a hell yeah, Dad?
Hell yeah!
There we go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, you agreed with me on 11 this time. I'm proud of myself.
Hell no on that one.
Oh, screw you. Come on, you should be happy. I got you agree with me 11 times. Only 5. Only 5 you disagreed on. It was the Jaden Daniels, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the R-Truth, the Denver Broncos, and the Joe Flacco. Those were the only 5 disagreements. You agreed on the other 11. I'll take it.
Take the dub.
Well, I'll take the dub. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Two Jagoffs. Make sure you go tune into all of our social media pages. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, whatever platform you're listening on, do as the button tells you to do. And we'll definitely be bringing back Sports Confessions once more. It's one of my favorite game shows to do. And Dad, I know it's one of your favorites too because you get a migraine from it. And I love you to death, but it's fun watching you get mad at some of the stuff I give you.
You like watching my hair go gray.
Yeah, the hair, just like Stone Cold. But Dad, I'm going to give you the final word. Do you have anything that you would like to leave with the listeners of Two Jagoffs today?
You know, get out, go on social media, support Austin and Two Jagoffs, and also go on, check out, if you're into wrestling, he does a lot of film work and behind-the-scenes stuff for IWC 880, and, you know, he's putting out a lot of content, so get out and support him. You know, me and his mother and his sister really appreciate it as much as he does, so that being said, I have nothing else.
Well, thank you so much, Dad. Don't forget that you can check me out on Steel City Commuters every week as well, and Inside the Ring when there's any live wrestling shows. With that all being said, thank you again so much for tuning in. Until next time on Two Jagoffs, we will see you all in the next one.
Peace.